Reviews are pouring in for a 24 psychological horror movie Talk to Me, and it's on pace to set a significant record for 2023 horror films. Talk to Me is yet another supernatural movie looking to make waves at the box office. So in this video, we are going to recap, break down, and explain the ending of Talk to Me. Just to let you guys know, this video is going to contain spoilers. Mia continues to connect with the dead most frequently with her mother with fatal effects. Although there are many hints throughout that indicate which portions of the ending are real and which require further explanation, Talk to Me's finale is highly vague due to the frequent blending of the physical world and the spiritual realm. What happens to Mia in Talk to Me's ending? It is obvious that Mia became possessed when she held onto the hand for too long in the beginning of Talk to Me. Giving the recurrent glimpses of her mother, she is encouraged to keep using the hand in an effort to close the door and rescue Riley from his possession. Because her mother's spirit appears to be kind, Mia's mother persuades her that she must put Riley's spirit out of his agony. After showing her a vision of the suffering that Riley is going through in limbo, she chooses to wheel Riley out of the hospital and into oncoming traffic rather than stab him with the same scissors she unintentionally used to stab her father. Before she can decide whether to go through with it, Jade pushes Mia onto the highway to save Riley, causing an accident. A bloodied Mia rises from the highway and is transported back to the hospital, where she finds that she has no reflection and both Riley and her father are leaving the hospital. Mia soon finds herself drawn towards the candlelight, and she takes her place on the spirit side of Talk to Me's embalmed hand. Mia actually dies at the end of Talk to Me when she is pushed into traffic by Jade. The reason she becomes one of the lost spirits attracted to the embalmed hand is because she died while being possessed. With no living body for her spirit to return to, she becomes lost herself, doomed to wander in limbo like the others that communicate with the hand. Mia's spirit is only shown being contacted once, using the hand in the ending, so there's no further information on if she remains in a benevolent spirit like the little girl who showed her a vision of Riley, or a malevolent one like the elderly spirit that invades Riley's body. Was the spirit Mia saw actually her mom? Even while Mia's ghost in the book Talk to Me acts and speaks as her mother might, it's much more likely that Mia was being used as a pawn by an evil force from the beginning. This is clearly demonstrated during Mia's first possession, when the spirit that momentarily resides in her expresses its interest in Riley. Mia would be an easy target for manipulation, using the memory of her mother because she is grieving after all. It also suggests that it is a ploy rather than her mother truly reaching out to Mia, because she gets glimpses of her before Riley ever touches the hand. Another indicator that Mia's mother's spirit is a pretender is that it attempts to deceive her multiple times. Despite her father holding onto and reading her mother's suicide note, the spirit tells Mia that it's a lie. It convinces her that killing Riley will end his suffering, only for it to be confirmed that killing him would not save him, it would make him a lost soul. A very similar incident occurs in the opening scene of Talk to Me, when the possessed Duckett talks about how he has been communicating with his father only to stab his brother Cole and brutally kill himself. While it's possible that it was actually Mia's mom who originally spoke to her through Riley, the spirit that possessed her was almost certainly an evil imposter. Did Mia's dad, Max, die? Since Riley was also duped into stabbing her father, Max, in the neck, it appears that the demonic spirits frequently manipulate by acting in the guise of a loved one. The bleeding but still alive Mia's father is discovered by Jade, who Mia herself sent to her home. Max was likely taken to the hospital by Jade for treatment, and in Mia's last hospital vision, she witnesses Riley and her father leaving the facility after appearing to have recovered from their wounds. Max does survive Mia's stabbing, which is similar to Cole surviving his brother's stabbing in the beginning of the movie. If the vision is genuine and not a trick by the bad spirits. At its core, Talk to Me is a heavily metaphorical exploration of grief and the difficulties of letting go. Holding on for too long, whether to a person's memory or an embalmed hand, can have destructive consequences for a person and their loved ones. The depression that associates grief and loss is also symbolized in the film with the concept of the possession parties. It's often easier for those stricken by grief and depression to seek solace in destructive means as opposed to embracing the pain of working through it, whether it's the numbing ability of drugs and alcohol or the distraction of parties and socialization. There's even a clear line to be drawn between substance abuse and Mia's overuse of the embalmed hand. Grief is such a prevalent theme in Talk to Me that the audience sees Mia subtly work through some of the 7 stages of grief per BetterHelp. The 7 stages are shock and denial, guilt and pain, anger and bargaining, depression, reflection and loneliness, the upward turn, reconstruction and working through, and finally acceptance and hope. The stages occur in a different order for everyone, but Mia definitely checks off many of the boxes. Shock and denial are evident in Mia's refusal to believe that her mother committed suicide and her refusal to see through the spirit's lies, choosing to believe that it is in fact her mother. Since it was her fault Riley held onto the hand for too long, she is consumed with guilt and pain over Riley's injuries. In addition to her mother's death, she expresses how lonely she was before moving in with Jaden Riley, which makes the resentment she has towards her father very obvious. She also makes a second reference to this when she persuades Daniel to stay with her in the middle of the movie. Tragically, she never completes the final 3 steps. All attempts at reconstruction, acceptance, or optimism are abandoned in favor of despair as she is overcome by the perils of the embalmed hand and turns into a lost soul herself.